Hi everybody, welcome back to the Six Cats Press YouTube channel. My name's Joe, and like I said in my last video, I'm working on editing my book. So this is what I'm doing for my first step in my editing process. This is something I'm cribbing from Rachel Aaron, who is a famous self-published writer who I'm a huge fan of. This is sort of what she does, and I'm giving it a try. So one of the first things she does when she's done her draft, which you can see here, I've got here in Scrivener, she then makes a timeline, and you can sort of see the timeline I've been making. So lots of events, all the way back from when my main character was born, when they were in university, and then the events of the story. Try not to read too much. And what I'm doing here with, this is Aeon Timeline, and what I'm doing right now is I'm taking the import, because it syncs with Scrivener, of all of the scenes in my book, which are all these ones here that are yellow unassigned, and then I'm assigning them to certain categories, and I'm slapping them with dates so you can sort of see how long things are taking. And this will help me keep my story straight in my head when I'm actually editing. So once I've done that, I will be going through in Scrivener and changing all of my sort of synopses that I had in my notes section in Scrivener that helped me identify when I was plotting and or planting it exactly what I was thinking would happen in each scene. So there's a lot of stuff in there that either happened later or there's new stuff in it. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to redo all of those notes in Scrivener. And then once I'm done all that, I will make my list of things that I need to fix or look at or whatever. So let's get moving. So a little bit of progress. As you can see, my book has a bunch of song lyrics in it that the characters write because they're in a band. So I've decided to categorize those as green. And then for my main story, I've got red for the main plot. And then for any YouTube video transcripts that I've written, they are going to be light blue. And you can see what this kind of looks like on the timeline at this point. I mean, it's all pretty condensed. Let me zoom that way a little bit because the whole story happens over kind of 2 years, so there's a lot kind of beginning in 2023, which ironically is kind of now, and then I'm just about to get into 2024, then we're going to flip over to 2025, and we'll see what happens with that. So that's kind of where we're at right now. And I will touch base again once I've got through this timeline and start redoing my scene notes. Well, good morning, everybody. I've just finished with the timeline for the edit for my book. It's the next day. I didn't get it done yesterday because I took my wife out and we watched 2 movies. We watched Avatar and we watched Puss in Boots. And we had a nice kind of time together. So that was great. Let me show you what I did. So this is kind of the timeline of my story, and there's something really cool that I've noticed. So like we start back here, okay, they're in university or whatever, and that's all long. And they start the band, blah, blah, blah. So this is getting into actual meat of the book. And you can see here how tight everything is. Like there's a couple of days, like you see here, Thursday 16 to Friday 17th, February 2023 is when this happens. And I noticed something really kind of cool that I never thought of before, and that is that as my book is going, it's very specific, very specific. There's some periods where time passes in some of the scenes, but it's all really specific right up until kind of after the first, anticlimax where, things go badly. And then from there, I've noticed that the scenes get really long and it's kind of less specific, which is kind of interesting. And I'm super glad I did this because I actually caught a couple of timeline issues about when because it's a band, they go to a festival called Wacken, which takes place in August. So I actually had to look up the dates for when this happens in 2024 for next year. And that is the attack takes place from the 2nd to the 5th in 2024, which is pretty cool. anyway, it takes place then, and it's a so like a lot of stuff had to be adjusted to fit so that they could hit this one timeline that really mattered, this exact date. So I actually ended up having to adjust how long they were in Calgary and all that sort of stuff. So it's definitely been a useful exercise for me, even just conceptualizing this. So I think going forward, I'll definitely do this timeline thing more often. And of course, we have to learn how to use this software a little bit better. But yeah, so far so good. Oh, and I have already started making notes for things that I need to add and things I want to look at. So now it's time to go back in and re-edit my scene notes. And another good morning from Six Cats Press World Headquarters here in Canada. I finished the prep for edit for my book, and I'll just quickly show it to you real fast. So over here, I've got my Scrivener file, and I've got all of my scene breakdowns all set up and ready to go. I've got my timeline done, which I showed you guys yesterday, and I've got my notes sort of from biggest to smallest. Well, I mean, not necessarily smallest in terms of effort, but, most important to kind of least critical. And I will just skip through and start checking these things off. So that's the plan going forward. All right, I'm going to hit the get on it. Sorry, it's still a little tired. It's pretty early for me. I'm going to get on it, and it's going to be great. And yeah, believe it or not, I don't mind editing as much as I hate the marketing part. The marketing part of being a self-published author is the part I have the worst time with. So, I mean, let's get to it. Let's get this book done. And by done, I mean done. At least done enough to send to someone who I'm going to pay to edit it or to query or whatever else happens. Anyway, I'll catch you guys later. Thanks.